Seongwu is wondering that the group which is targeting Korea were the losers of second Chinese server, and they should hunt them now before they can become big enough to cause them trouble. However, there is going to be a day when they have to face an even greater group. The more larger their group gets, the chances of their encounter with other groups will also increase. That's why Seongwu needs an organization which works systematically to help him. Unfortunately, the small town of Suwon is not enough, so he needs a bigger group. At the same time, Prosecutor is thinking of making a large community at the national level, and now Seongwu is going to support him to make his community bigger. In reality, both Seongwu and Prosecutor are trying to use each other in some way. Hanho and Ji Se-yoon are happy now that the conflict between Seongwu and the Prosecutor has subsided. They have to take care of the orcs first, so they start making a plan. Seongwu informs the Prosecutor that he has a way to decrease the casualties by as much as possible, but that method is a bit unconventional. Seongwu hints at doing some sort of sniping. After some time, the Prosecutor and the Liberation Guild start heading toward the orcs' main army. Minhum Song says that it feels like they are marching to a slaughterhouse, but Ji Se-yoon replies by saying that they will be the ones who will become butchers today. Hanho tells her that there are too many pigs to slaughter, and his daggers are not enough. An orc gives out a loud roar and they start marching toward the Liberation Guild. Prosecutor orders his tanks to come to the front and the mages to move in the middle so they can't get attacked from behind. One of the mages is feeling disheartened, but his friend tells him that he should focus on the fight now because he cannot run away even if he wants to. In order to motivate his men, the Prosecutor tells them that they have already won many impossible battles, and today's war is just an extension of those battles. The Prosecutor is sure that there will be even more difficult and exhausting fights from now on. More powerful foes will try to bring them down with their might, and he asks his men if they will give up in the face of such a small challenge. His men are bursting with motivation, so they say they will never give up. The Prosecutor uses his 10 plus domain skill and tells his men that this victory will belong to them. The outer shield of the orcs gets destroyed and the mages start casting fireballs. The fireballs hit the orcs, but their numbers don't seem to be dwindling. The orcs attack the front row of the Liberation Guild, but their tankers are holding back the orcs. The orcs are trying to surround them from sides, so the spearmen get ready. The orc shamans make their appearance, so the human mages also start getting ready. Rhino riders are pushing toward the human player formation, so the spearmen start aiming for them before they can break their formation. The human players are ferociously holding back the orcs. The siege weapons of the orcs start taking their position. An orc chief orders the siege weapons to start shooting at the human players. The Prosecutor uses his Realm of Blind Faith skill to cast a shield around them. The Prosecutor orders his men to hold their position and keep luring the orcs' main forces toward them. They need to bring the Orc Lord as close to them as possible. At the same time, a griffin is flying above the airport. The girl asks Seongwu if he wants the griffin to lower the altitude, but Seongwu replies by saying that this height is enough for him. All of a sudden, Seongwu jumps down and he activates his Grim Reaper mode in the air. The orc shamans can feel Seongwu's presence, but they are a bit late, and Seongwu summons Ogre Champion out of the abyss. The orc shamans summon a shield around them and the Ogre Champion gets ready for his Thunder God Blessing technique. The Ogre Champion smashes the shield into bits, and the orc shamans also get destroyed in the process. The Prosecutor saw the whole thing, and now he knows that it was the sniping operation Seongwu was talking about. The Orc Lord appears out of the rubble, and the last attack had a lot of impact on him. Seongwu asks why he is looking angry. The Ogre warriors start retreating back to protect their lord. Minhum Song tells the Liberation Guild to attack the orcs which are trying to retreat. Seongwu activates both Call of Death and Weaken Spirit at the same time. Seongwu receives a new hidden synergy because he has a Commander Skeleton righty with more than 30 units under his command. He also got a second synergy called Giants, which require more than 50 giant-type units in the party. His third synergy is Steel Armored Knightage, which requires more than 50 units equipped with heavy armor. Someone throws a bottle filled with Breath of the Abyss in the middle of the orc army. The orcs start dying from the effects of Breath of the Abyss. Hanho, who is now riding the griffin, was the one who threw the bottle at the orcs. Seongwu is feeling even more buffed after coming in contact with the Breath of Abyss. Seongwu tells the Orc Lord that he is sorry for coming to see him like this, but he wanted to have a nice little chat with him. Seongwu orders Righty and the Death Knight to attack the Orc Lord. Righty and the Death Knight start attacking the Orc Lord in unison. The Orc Lord is somehow blocking their attacks. The Orc Lord gets distracted for 1 second, and the Death Knight seizes this chance to perform a slash attack on him. Righty jumps toward the Orc Lord to finish him with a head stab, but the Death Knight chains and pushes the Orc Lord toward himself. Death Knight slashes the Orc Lord into 2 pieces with the nameless sword. Seongwu receives 900,000 gold for defeating the Orc Lord, and the time until the egg hatching has been reduced to 3,780 days. Righty is pissed at the Death Knight for stealing his kill, but Death Knight tries to clarify that he killed the Orc Lord to reduce the hatching time of the dragon egg. After the death of their lord, the orcs have lost the will to fight. The orcs are hit with a plenty effect and they became weaker. The human players start butchering the red orcs. Minhum Song, along with some other Liberation Guild members, ride on bikes to kill the orcs faster. The prosecutor becomes relieved because now they can hunt the orcs without worrying about casualties. All of a sudden, Minhum Song receives an emergency alert on his mobile. It seems to be quite important, so Minhum rides toward the prosecutor to tell him the news. Minhum Song informs the prosecutor that the magic drone scout team just reported that the Wyverns group is headed their way. Prosecutor becomes shocked and he inquires about the current location of Wyverns. Minhum Song informs him that scout team who reported it is 3 kilometers away from their location, so the Wyverns must be arriving at their location pretty soon. The prosecutor thinks that maybe they were tricked by Wyverns. The Wyverns were waiting for their prey to leave the city, which had a lot of obstacles, and head toward the wasteland. Prosecutor orders all human players to retreat and take shelter inside the airport building. The human players are a bit confused as to why prosecutor is asking them to retreat. All of a sudden, a system message pops up which informs all of them that the field boss Wyvern alpha male appeared near them. The human players are already too late as the Wyverns are upon them. The Wyverns start rampaging through the ranks of human players and eating them in the process. Seongwu thinks that the Wyverns appeared at a bad time, and dealing with them can be a bit troublesome right now. Seongwu orders his flying birds to carry the dead orcs toward the Wyverns. The Wyverns are busy in their rampage, and the birds approach near them carrying the bodies. Seongwu asks the prosecutor to prepare the ballistas, and the prosecutor orders his men to prepare them. The Wyverns spot the flying birds. One of them bites a dead red orc and gulps it up without any second thoughts. Seongwu uses corpse explosion to blast the red orc inside the mouth of the Wyvern. The prosecutor orders his men to shoot the Wyvern with ballistas. Seongwu orders the Wandering Drake to finish off the Wyvern. Wandering Drake bites the Wyvern from behind, and after a bit of struggle, he manages to kill the Wyvern. Seongwu receives 754,000 gold for finishing off a single Wyvern. All human players become happy after witnessing Seongwu finishing off a Wyvern. Seongwu always wanted to beat the Wyverns, and now he finally managed to achieve his goal. Seongwu uses his skill to add the Wyvern into his horde. Seongwu gets on the Wyvern and he orders Death Knight to do the same. They start flying high above the other Wyverns. The skies have finally opened up for Seongwu and he can now travel freely and faster. Death Knight asks Seongwu if they are going to hunt the Wyverns next. Seongwu replies by saying that it's time for them to show the Wyverns how it feels like being hunted. One of the Wyverns spots the human players gathered below him. He starts rushing toward them at full speed. Seongwu orders his Bone Wyvern to chase that Wyvern who got separated from the herd. The Bone Wyvern bites one of its wing. Death Knight uses his Chains of Abyss skill to bind the Wyvern. Seongwu orders the Death Knight to finish it off with the Nameless Sword. All of a sudden, Seongwu notices a second Wyvern above him, which is about to attack them. They dodge the attack of the Wyvern by ducking down. The Bone Wyvern starts flying away and the second Wyvern gives chase. Seongwu is worried because taking care of 2 Wyverns at the same time will be difficult, but at the same time he receives a notification that the first Wyvern has been killed. Death Knight killed the first Wyvern by stabbing its head with the Nameless Sword, and now he is falling down. Seongwu makes the first Wyvern into a Bone Wyvern with his skill. The second Wyvern is not giving up and he is about to bite them. Seongwu summons Righty and he throws him toward the second Wyvern. As the Wyvern is about to gulp up Righty, he uses his spinal bones to dodge the attack. Righty then uses his spiral blade technique to cut the Wyvern. Wyvern received a lot of damage and he is bleeding. The Wyvern Seongwu is riding bites off the neck of the second Wyvern. Seongwu brings the second Wyvern back to life and now he has 3 of them. There are more Wyverns below them which are in a horde and the alpha male Wyvern is watching them from above. Seongwu can't deal with the whole herd of Wyverns, so he will wait for some of them to leave the herd and he will hunt them one by one. All of a sudden, the alpha male wyvern who was hovering above them gives out a loud roar. All wyverns look up at the alpha male. The whole herd starts moving up in the sky, even ignoring Seongwu, who is standing on their way. The alpha male wyvern along with his herd is giving off some evil vibes. Death Knight tells Seongwu to be on alert because things are about to get messy. There are about 30 wyverns in the herd and it is going to be impossible to run away from them. But Seongwu still has a jar filled with Breath of the Abyss, which can come in handy in this situation. The wyverns start rushing towards Seongwu in unison. Seongwu quickly spreads the Breath of Abyss around him. The wyverns become alerted after watching a cloud formed with Breath of the Abyss, but they still charge through and they get hit with the effects of the Abyss. The wyverns back away from the smoke of Breath of the Abyss. The Death Knight informs Seongwu that the Breath of Abyss works like a charm on them, but the alpha male wyvern is still holding his ground. Seongwu pulls up another empty jar and he tries to threaten the wyverns to back away or he will shower them with more jars containing Breath of the Abyss. The alpha male realizes they cannot do anything if the Necromancer keeps on using the Breath of the Abyss, so he decides to retreat with his horde. The wyverns fly off into the distance at maximum speed. Seongwu's Grim Reaper mode also just expired and he is happy to finally have some peace. Seongwu lands on the ground and his minions take care of the remaining orcs. The human players feel at ease by having Seongwu with them. The prosecutor feels a bit relieved because Seongwu is on his side and he can take care of foreign powers while he concentrates on making a strong community. A notification pops up which informs them that the Koreans have cleared the 4th warlord monster and Seongwu is the biggest contributor in this mission. The human players start celebrating their victory. Seongwu was the biggest contributor in this raid, but player Han Kang-sok is still on the 1st position in the Korean server. Seongwu just leveled up to 18, so he chooses a +3 strength card as his level up reward. Seongwu knows that information about him has spread too much due to the live streaming, and his enemies will target him in the future instead of his summons. That's why he chose a strength card to increase his strength. Seongwu also got a legendary rank ring after killing the Orc Lord. This ring is called Blackened Pearl Ring. It increases curse-type magic damage by 10%. This ring also emits dark energy which can be harmful to players with no immunity. Seongwu equips the ring and it will be quite useful for him when he uses Breath of the Abyss or other black magic. Seongwu thinks that he could have gotten better loot if he had allowed the Orc Lord to cast the black magic, just like the legendary item he got from Orc Shaman in the college gym. But stopping the magic was more important or more people would have lost their lives. During night, they make an assessment that only 492 people survived the last battle. That's only a third of players they started the battle with, and the players are a bit concerned. The prosecutor comes up and he informs them that they have lost a lot of good men, but the ones who survived have become stronger. He further informs them that events like this will continue to occur, so they must use this incident as a reason to get stronger. Seongwu thinks that the words of the prosecutor are a bit tough, but everything he says is true. Ji-seon reached level 15 while Han-ho is a bit slow, so he made it up to level 12. Han-ho is on the 27th rank while Ji-seon is on the 7th rank in the Korean server. Han-ho takes a mic and he starts complaining to the system for only awarding 4 or 5 star players with Awakening, while the players with low stars are treated like extras. Seongwu informs him that he had 2 chances to pick a class, and it's his fault that he chose low star classes both times. At the same time, some Liberation Guild members who were exploring the Gimpo International Airport come out. One of the players informs them that they found a store inside the airport building, but when they tried to get inside, they got a system message telling them that the store cannot be approached. Seongwu becomes happy as he thinks this store must be only for special players like him. The other players with high star classes also become happy after hearing it. The prosecutor tells all of the leaders to head inside and give it a try. The player guides the leaders in the room with the store. There is something different about this store and even its logo is marked with cannot be used symbol. An-seok-gu and Gang Young-lee try to approach the outer wall of the store, but the entrance of the store is still locked, and a message pops up which informs them that they need a secret store coupon to enter. Seongwu heads up near the store wall. He puts his hand on the wall and a notification pops up which asks him if he wants to use the secret store coupon. This is the secret coupon Seongwu got after his first awakening, and it was only limited to 50 people around the world. And it looks like the prosecutor got awakened pretty late, so maybe that's why he didn't get any secret coupon. The other leaders are a bit pissed because Seongwu is the one who always gets special treatment by the system. Seongwu heads inside the room and there's a chair with a screen in front of it. The system asks Seongwu to sit down and Seongwu sits on the chair. A system message pops up which informs him that 5 carefully selected items will be sequentially revealed to him. He needs to speak up if there is an item he wishes to purchase. Seongwu will have 10 seconds to make his decision, and an item which already passed through cannot be purchased. Seongwu tells the system store that he is ready. A bright light appears on the screen and the system message informs him that it's going to reveal the first item. The first item is a consumable blueprint, and it looks like a mech unit. This special rank item is called Golem Design Blueprint. The player can learn golem production skill after using this item. The owner of this skill can make large-sized golems using the materials around him, and it requires 1 million gold to acquire this blueprint. A 10-second system timer starts and Seongwu starts flaring up after hearing he can make big golem mech units like Gundam with his skill. Seongwu has a total of 10,500,000 gold, so he buys the golem blueprint item without any second thoughts. The second item is a set of Cure All elixirs. All status ailments can be cured after using it and it requires 2 million gold to purchase it. This item was also included in the reward choice during the hidden stage, but he had no idea that it was so expensive back then. Seongwu passes on this item because he is a Necromancer and he has immunity to most effects. The third item is a skill rank increasing medicine pill. The rank of one of the skills can be increased by 1 after using it, and it costs 3 million gold. Seongwu ignores this item as well and he realized that the cost of each item is increasing by 1 million gold. The fourth item is a legendary rank Shadow King's bracelet. It increases different stats of its wearer by 3 and the user can teleport to a shadow within a radius of 100 meters. It has a 10 minutes cooldown and it costs 4 million gold. Seongwu buys the Shadow King's bracelet without any second thought. The synergy effect of this bracelet is quite good, and he needs it to complete the Shadow's King Heir quest. A notification pops up which tells him that he needs 1 more Shadow King relic to complete the quest. The screen starts revealing the 5th item and Seongwu is quite excited to see it. A special rank consumable scroll appears. This item is called Resurrection Scroll, and its user can be resurrected at the designated location after death. This scroll requires 5 million gold. Resurrection is an exclusive feature for the Necromancer class. This same feature allowed him to deal with the Wandering Drake and finish his first awakening quest. Resurrection cooldown can take up to 31 days, but it is still an overpowered skill. There are 3 drawbacks of this skill. First, the cooldown of this skill is too long. Seongwu has already used the skill and he's still waiting for the countdown to be over, and if he dies in that time, it will be over for him. Second drawback is that the situation can't be changed even after being resurrected, and the enemy who killed him once must be overpowered enough to kill him twice. Third drawback is that it's a skill Seongwu can only use on himself, and if Hanho or Jisoo-yun die, he can't do anything. Besides the fact that they are both his close friends, they are the only 2 people he can completely trust. They need to get strong and take risks. The Resurrection Scroll will be a huge advantage to them. So Seongwu buys it before the timer can run out. Seongwu bought everything he needed and the store starts sending him back. After the war with the orcs ended, the prosecutor established Capital's City Player Union. The Liberation Guild and the players from Seongwu's town kept grinding levels. At the same time, Seongwu and his party are enjoying their vacation. Seongwu is gathering information because the fights they are going to have in the future will be more difficult. The Griffin Rider approaches them and she informs them that the pirates have already appeared. Jisoo-yun signs as their short break is already over. Seongwu informs Prosecutor about it and he asks Seongwu how he is going to deal with the pirates. Seongwu informs him that it will be best to take care of them in the ocean before they can make their landing. Hanho says that the pirates would not have invaded them for the second time if they had a working brain. Jisoo-yun says that they must be careful because the pirates will try to approach them differently because they already know about Seongwu. If those pirates are aiming for Korea, then they must have gathered as much information as they can from live streams or by kidnapping other players. Jisoo-yun asks Seongwu if he has already thought about how he is going to deal with the pirates. Seongwu has not thought of a plan yet, but he still says he has a plan. These pirates are a group of plunderers who were chased out of the Chinese mainland. They called themselves Lord General of Heaven, Lord General of Earth, and Lord General of People. Hanho tells them that he has already heard these names in Chinese games, and they refer to the Yellow Turban Rebellion. After investigating the underlings of the pirates, Seongwu found out that they were all brainwashed and they acted like fanatics toward their boss. Ji Si-eun tells them that the Yellow Turban Rebellion was also a historical event where the leader led fanatics to take over the world, and this situation seems familiar. Seongwu heard some pirates talking about a poisonous centipede wine, which probably is the catalyst used for the brainwashing. The prosecutor says that their leader seems dangerous and he must be dealt with first. If they somehow lose him, he can come back with more soldiers using his brainwashing skills. Seongwu says that they should start heading towards Kyeodong Island first, and this time, Ji Si-eun and Hanho will be tagging along with him. Seongwu summons his wyverns for the flight, but Hanho says that he prefers the safety of a chopper, and the girl assures him that her flying hawk is quite safe, so he should travel with her. Ji Si-eun says riding wyverns is fun too, but Hanho replies by saying that it's fun for her because she is in physical education department. As Seongwu is about to leave, the prosecutor tells him that he will leave the pirates to him. Seongwu says that there is no need to worry about the pirates, but they don't know what the Evolution Society might do in his absence, so they must prepare well for any kind of attack. The prosecutor gets furious and he informs Seongwu that they will be investing as much manpower as they can to prepare for the Evolution Society. During nighttime, Seongwu and his party arrive at Kyeodong Island. Seongwu asks a fisherman if he is sure he saw the pirate ships. The fisherman says that he is sure he saw ships belonging to the pirates. The daughter of the fisherman asks him again if he is sure, and the fisherman replies by saying that her uncle, who was the previous leader, was eaten by one of their monster birds, so he is quite sure about it. This guy is called Lee Mu-yeon, and he is the new leader of Kyeodong Island. Their resentment against the pirates was so great that they gave up hunting monsters and started to work as coastal guards. Lee Mu-yeon says that it's been about 12 hours since they circled the island. Then they went over to the shore of Ganghwa Island. Seongwu says that this makes it clear that the pirates have not given up on the Korean peninsula. Ji Si-eun says that they cannot rule out the possibility that they will land in other locations. Plus, they can land on the southern part of the peninsula and then move up. Hanho says that this can be better for them because warlord monsters still exist in other areas except for the capital city. The players have already evacuated upward, and the pirates will be cleaning up the monsters for them. Seongwu says they are wrong, and the pirates will come straight this way. The idea of taking over another server isn't something you can accomplish with the usual confidence or momentum. The leader of those pirates only has his eyes on taking over the capital city, which is the core of their server. Seongwu asks Lee Mu-yeon if they are thinking of staying on the island, even with the pirates coming back. Lee Mu-yeon says that they have suffered once due to those pirates, but they will not suffer again, and this time they are going to pay back the pirates. Ji Si-eun says that they should get ready in that case. Seongwu thinks that they must prepare thoroughly because the advanced fleet of pirates was wiped out, and this time maybe the main fleet will arrive. Seongwu's party has a lot of gold, so they ask Lee Mu-yeon about the location of a store or a blacksmith shop because they want to buy some equipment. Lee Mu-yeon tells him that there is a smithy in downtown where they can strengthen their equipment. At the same time, a fisherman runs toward Lee Mu-yeon. The fisherman informs them that the pirates have already swarmed together. They are gathering on an island across the sea, where they are preparing to attack them. Lee Mu-yeon informs Seongwu that it happened too fast and they are not ready yet. Seongwu is thinking that the pirates are acting weird and they should have landed somewhere inland instead of a separate island. Seongwu thinks that maybe the pirates haven't learned anything about him yet, or they are looking down on him. During nighttime, a ship is moving through the ocean. A player with a mic says that he will now inform all of them what they are about to do. The player says that they belong to the Lord General of Earth's fleet. They are currently in the middle of the ocean right now. He tells the men to be on guard because the ocean is filled with terrible monsters. After crossing this hellish ocean, they will be landing on the Korean peninsula in order to occupy that land. The people from the Chinese second server are calling them cowards because they ran away from there without a proper fight. But once they return to the Chinese server after conquering Korea, they will take care of all of them. The player with the mic says that the wish of their Lord of Heaven will be fulfilled in Korea. But Korea has an evil villain called the Necromancer who killed their advanced team without showing any sort of mercy. However, the same thing is not going to happen for the second time, because their great fleet will be conquering the land of Korea. The pirates become inspired and they start cheering for the Lord of Heaven.